What up, guys? My name is Jose, and welcome to this first episode of this first podcast. And as you might know me, some of y'all know me, some of you guys are my friends, and this is the first time I've ever done a podcast. I'm in my room, yes, it's weird. First of all, I wanted to say that it is a weird pandemic that we're having here. It's not weird, but it's weird that it just we knew this was coming and we knew this was gonna happen someday. I never thought it would be this day, um, but it's whatever. And you know what this pandemic has led me to, and it's led me to make a podcast by myself. Now, I know you might say, what a loser, but in the future, I'll have some more people probably joining in with me. Some of my friends, video chat, will be talking about random stuff. Did I just hit the mic? I did. By the way, I'm using this cheap mic that I had that I bought from my PlayStation, and now I'm using it. It works fine. I could monotone. I could see, hear what I'm talking. Um, and I'm monitoring everything here on my iPad. So it's my first time making a podcast, and we're gonna see how long I could take this podcast to. Hopefully 30 minutes or up to an hour, depending if I have to do anything for the day. Obviously not. I've been playing, drawing, and doing other stuff. Now this is the first podcast, like I said. I would be bringing in more people and not physically, but through the internet, we could bring more people onto this podcast. And it's the first time, so if y'all want to help me make this bigger, I would love to do that. I would love to do that because I listen to some podcasts myself, and I like to listen to a lot of podcasts while I'm working, doing stuff. It just calms me sometimes, and I understand some people like podcasts for that. So I'm not this soothing. I'm not that soothing. My voice isn't that soothing, but hopefully this helps you some way, some shape or form. Because I really want to help, people and start my own thing. If some of you understand, but yeah, like I said, this podcast, I don't even have a name for this podcast. I'm just talking off my head, and I'm actually feeling a little bit comfortable, just because it's whatever at this point. Put a title for this, or I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm gonna put this out on Google or Google Apple Podcasts. Reason why is because I don't have a I don't know how to do it. I'll probably learn in the future. This will be going up on a YouTube channel, so please, guys. Oh wow, that was a notification. We got a notification, guys, on my phone. It's just another game that I have on my phone. Gonna turn that off. It's not like I'm gonna get any important phone calls. Um, but yeah, guys. So I really don't have a topic. I could look up some stuff on my phone. I could look up a couple of things, ask some questions, maybe in the future, do stuff like that. And I might be cutting, pausing, bringing it back, doing stuff like that. So yeah, let me go back and forth and see what I could look up and see what I could put on, what I could do, what I could talk about, start talking about for this podcast. Well, one thing that I actually was gonna start talking about is something that I wanted to mention is Star Wars, man. I've been missing out Star Wars for like decades, man. I've been I made myself sick. I was like, man, I felt bad that I missed so much of Star Wars. I recently, as you, most of y'all know, if you watch this podcast and if you know me, I started watching Star Wars. Now, one thing of Star Wars is I wasn't a big fan about Star Wars. I wasn't huge, not even with Marvel back then. I love Marvel right now, and I love Star Wars. One thing about Star Wars is that I thought it was stupid at first. Like I didn't pay attention. I didn't think about it anything about it. I don't know. It was just so crazy. And when I started uh, watching, like, so this is how it happened. One day I was bored. I came from work. I wanted to watch something. There was nothing on Netflix. There was nothing on Hulu, and I recently it was Disney Plus, and so I bought a subscription for Disney Plus, and I started watching it, and it was crazy. And at first I wasn't paying attention. It was my first episode, and I really didn't care about Star Wars. I was just drawing and watching back and forth, and episode 1 came around and 2 came around, the prequels. I know so much about Star Wars now. It's crazy what you could learn in a couple of days. And I think if Star Wars was a subject and Marvel was a subject at school, I think I would have aced it. And but yeah, so I decided to watch 1 and 2, and then the three came up. Now in this second episode, I started kind of, watching. I was like paying attention. It grabbed my attention. Third came around, and I was so confused. I was like, okay, so Anakin Skywalker, huh? Okay, so I started watching. I loved Padme. I love, uh, learned about it, and turns out Padme is Natalie Portman, and so I started watching some more, and episode 3, and I was like, holy shit, he's Darth Vader, and I was like, that's crazy. So here's the thing. Shout out to my friend. I don't know if he wants me to talk about him, but shout out to my friend Joaquin. I'm not gonna call him. He knows who he is. Shout out to him. Big friend. Met him at a job that I'm not gonna mention. I don't want to shout out, things that maybe he'll be embarrassed about. So, my great friend Joaquin, he told me that I should start watching Rogue One. Well, yeah, Rogue One. It was Rogue One, and I immediately asked him, "Is this about Because at the end, baby Leia uh, baby Leia and baby Luke get separated. So I decided to ask him. So Rogue One, I started watching it, and I saw this girl, but I wasn't. I thought that was Princess Leia. So I asked him. I was like, "Is this Princess Leia? Is this a Princess Leia story?" And I was so stupid. Why did I ask that? But he was cool about it. He's like, "No, it doesn't have to do anything to do with Luke or Leia." I was like, okay, that seems reasonable. And he was the one that guided me. He was like, look, if you're gonna watch this episode, you gotta watch this episode, and if you're gonna watch that episode, you gotta watch this episode. And if you watch the fourth episode, it's because they made this one first and then that one, and it was pretty cool that he had guided me. And I also had a guide, and I don't know, it was clipnet.com or something like that. It was like this picture of this timeline that you can actually download. And I started watching it, and Rogue One, it didn't make sense. I might go back and watch Rogue One. I rewatched 1, 2, and 3. I don't know. I heard people talking about that they sucked, and now they appreciate them. But it's like, I don't know why people hated them so much. I love them. Like, I love the prequels. I don't know. I don't understand why people hate them, or used to hate them. Um, but when episode 4 and 5 and 6 came out, or I started watching those episodes, the original trilogy, I I completely lost it. I was like, yo, this is crazy. Now in a good way. This is crazy, man. Like, it's all connected. It's something that I think Marvel wanted to do, and they did. but they couldn't do it because they didn't have the material. Now, it just makes it so much different. Like to see that George Lucas, yeah, that's George Lucas, um, couldn't make the prequels because, well, he didn't want to make the origin story, so he decided to make it from the middle, from not the beginning, but from the middle. Like that's crazy, man. And he had a vision, and that's what I loved about how he made these Star Wars movies, and that's crazy. And so I fell in love. I fell in love, and I started watching the sequels, which are the ones that Disney own. Now, I've been hearing that Disney was planning with George Lucas like in advance, in like years prior to Revenge of the Sith, and whatever, what was going on behind the scenes. But back then it wasn't owned by Disney. Now we all know it's owned by Disney now, and I'm not gonna lie, and you guys might know. Now here's the thing. Here's the thing. I hate when people say, I'm not gonna shit on them. I like it too, but I'm not gonna shit on them. I hate it when people say that. But here's the thing. I see why people say it because it's the truth. Now, one thing that I like the sequels. I totally like the sequels. Um, but they could have done better. I'm not hating on them, not shitting on them, but they could have done better. I think Kylo Ren had so much potential. What was his name? Adam Driver, or I think that's his. Whoa! I just my voice just cracked. That's ass. Now this is whatever this is. If I mess up with words, it's going in. I want this podcast to be very fresh, and I hope you laugh with me because um, it's crazy. And maybe in the future we'll have video on this podcast. Um, but for now, I think I'm just gonna leave it into voice, have a little picture on YouTube, and there we go. But I think they could have done so much better with Adam Driver. I think that's his name. I'll look it up just for you guys that are, you know, not very, you know, yes, that's his name, Adam Driver. I think they had so much more potential for Adam Driver. Now I did watch episode. I forgot the episodes. It was one, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. I watched 7, 8, and 9 as well. I watched them. I got to watch The Rise of Skywalker at the movie theater, so I got to watch that at the movie theater. That's crazy, and it was crazy because nobody was there, and it was an old couple, and I was like, wow, true love. But no, I did get to watch those two. I feel like I'm talking a lot, and I think it's because this is the first podcast. So it'll just everything will come from second nature, and I feel like I'm talking too fast. But to my point is, sorry for the background, for the back noise. If you hear any back noise, or if you hear anybody talking in the back noise, it's shitty. I know. But I did get to watch episode 8 and or 7, 8, and 9, and I think they could have done so much better. The Rise of Skywalker, I will say that I loved it. They could have done so much better with the ending, but it is whatever, and I like it. I like it. I absolutely enjoyed it, and I mean, it was a closing for the Skywalker saga. Now, I was hearing, I'm not sure, I think the guy's name is, or his channel is Explain Theory. I think that's his name. Explain Theory. I think that's his name. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure his YouTube channel. I think it's no, not Star Wars Comics. Forgot, but I'll probably put a little picture up there and show who I'm talking about. Star Wars Theory. Now I like his channel, and I think he was the one that pointed out, or I'm not sure. Maybe I'm shouting out the wrong person, But I did hear that they were gonna get out. It was supposed to end in another way. The movie was supposed to be so much different than what it was. Supposedly, the guy that played Anakin Skywalker in the prequels, of course. I, 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 I don't know none of the actor's name. Hayden Christensen, of course. I love him. No, you know, as a fan. Uh, Hayden Christensen, I think they were supposed to put him in like an evil type of way, or he was supposed to come back in a way. Of course, we did not see that. I think there was, I don't know how they were gonna implement that, but I think it would have been nice. I think it would have been something very cool to see him back because I felt like we didn't see much of Hayden Christensen in the prequels. We did, but at the same time, you, I, I think some of us fans of Christian Haydenson, we we didn't get satisfied. Um, like when you have Iron Man in the Marvel movies, and you had him since number one, two, three, Avengers one, Avengers two, Avengers three, four. You know, I think we didn't have enough, and a lot of people were disappointed. But I think it is what it is, and I would have loved to seen him back in the Rise of Skywalker. So yeah, I mean that's my story about Star Wars. I went through not liking it and then loving it, and guys, just when you think you don't like something, just try it. It's like any food, you know. "Oh, I don't like seafood. Well, how do you know? How do you know it tastes? How do you know how try it first. You always got to try something. So right now, I'm not a huge anime guy, but I'm gonna go into anime for a bit and see if I like anything. I used to like anime, well, comic books, and but I stopped it. Now I'm all about comic book stories like MCU, DC. But yeah, Star Wars. I love Star Wars now, and I'm crazy about Star Wars. But yeah, I mean, it's whatever, man. Like it's. I hated myself for a bit because I couldn't go back, back then I never heard or never really paid attention, and so now that I look back, I'm like, this is bullshit, man. Because I could have watched all these Star Wars with like a bunch of fans, and and talked to them while these movies were out. But nobody really pays attention to them now, and it's very rare to like find any good friends or any good fanatics of Star Wars. So that's all Marvel and DC. But yeah, like it's crazy. Another thing I wanted to, that popped in my brain, it was The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian is a very, very good show. Can't wait for that to come out. I think that's one of the shows that I'm really looking forward to. And then whatever comes after that is the Marvel, shows. She-Hulk. You have all that. Spider-Man is coming out. Of course, everything got delayed because of that. But yeah, guys, I think I'll take a short break here, and of course it won't be a short break, but I don't know. I might put like some information or something up there. For you guys, it's not gonna be a break unless you skip it. Or I don't know what I'm gonna do. If I'm just gonna have a break for me now, a little break, and then continue the podcast and bring back another conversation because I feel like I should do that. And then for you guys, it probably won't be a break. For me, it will. But I was just trying to make this happen. But sometimes I might just put a random little tingle or jingle up there, and it'll it'll kind of cut my it'll kind of cut me off and kind of move on to another topic or something like that. And yeah. All right, guys. Well, I'm back. Um, Actually, for you guys, it's not. I'm not back. It's all together for you guys because of the editing of the video. Yeah. So I've been gone for a while. I made this around 8, 7, 6, and then I stopped, and now it is 11:39, and I really can't tell how long the the these the recording goes on. So I have a little timer to see how much I'm running. Maybe I'll restart the timer again. I think those are seconds. Minute. That's been a minute now. Um, and I'm gonna try to. Well, I'm gonna make a timer. I'm gonna do the timer. I'm gonna try to set for a goal of 30 minutes because why not? Try to make my podcast, a little bit. I just burped there. I'm sorry. A little long, so you guys could enjoy, while you're an hour long. And guys, I'm not gonna be making these videos all the time. I'm gonna make these videos a couple more, a couple of days. Um, um, Try to upload, because uploading for me is one of the hardest parts. I had a YouTube channel, I still have it, but I usually do not upload. So for me, uploading is very hard, and editing is very hard because of the time. But because we're on this pandemic, we're on the pandemic, and I decided to make this podcast because of that. I have time, more time than usual. So I'm still busy, but not as busy as I used to. But so the reason why I do these little cuts is because I think it gives me more of a, I'm on social media, it gives me a little bit of break, eat or, think about other stuff. I hope the mic isn't really bothering people. I'm not sure if y'all can hear me. Can y'all hear me? Hopefully, y'all can hear me. Trying to bring the microphone, this little headset right here. Hopefully, you can. So, the reason why I do these things, I think it's nice to kind of stop and for a bit, think about stuff and seeing the world out there, seeing it on social media, and kind of start thinking of other topics you could start talking about. Like I was thinking, I was, on TikTok, of course. I'm still a teen. I I could say that TikTok has really changed. Now we have this queen. What's her name? Her name is forgot. We have this crown queen. Forgot her name, and her name is everywhere, man. Like her name is everywhere, and it's crazy. Well, it cut off the podcast. The recording got maximized, so I'm in a second recording. But yeah, about the TikTok thing. I think her name is Charlie D'Amelio or something like that. So I was actually on TikTok, of course. TikTok very famous now. Now it is that if you if a rapper comes out with a song and if it's not on TikTok, then it's the new judge. So everything is changed. I think rap music and music in general has the way it succeeds now. It's changed very differently. Um, but I was on TikTok. I was on TikTok and I was thinking about that time that I have in between the recording. I was like, this would be a very good topic to talk about. But I was like, maybe I'll leave that into another conversation in another uh, podcast, and maybe with somebody else that I know. Um, but yeah, so that's the reason why I take these kind of breaks, because I really do wanna um, have like a little break and talk about other stuff, think about what I can talk, and, and to be honest, I'm thinking of how I'm gonna do my logo, how I'm gonna draw it, how am I gonna create it, how am I gonna put the name for the podcast, and this might not go up until tomorrow morning, or even maybe if I can, I could start working tonight and have it tomorrow morning or by the afternoon. If you're listening by the afternoon, then I did everything in the morning, and if it goes up in the morning, that's because I did everything tonight. 11:47 p.m. Um, but yeah, guys, so that's why I have that little break in between and try to have that kind of thing going on first, so I could get a better thing, a better image of what I'm going to talk about. But I think one of the other topics I want to talk about is Marvel. Marvel, man. It's crazy, man. It's crazy what they did with the Avengers. It's crazy what they did with the Infinity War, and it's crazy how they did, um, you know, all this genius. Like Kevin Feige, the president of Marvel, is very, very intelligent. The way this dude did it, man. The way he decided to place everything. Like, I was on YouTube and I saw, I think one of the guys, YouTube is Emergency Awesome. Shout out to him, if this ever gets anywhere. Um, he's, um, like, it's crazy. Like, it's crazy what all these things that happen. Like, there's that one deleted scene with Nick Fury, and he was actually um, he was talking about the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. He was also talking about the radioactive spider bites. He was talking about the Hulk. He was talking about um, the Avenger. He was talking about things that we didn't even imagine could happen now because of the deal. This deal is crazy, man, and it's crazy how like everything was tried, like everything was set up. Like I was talking about the Star Wars thing is, you know, he had a vision, and it was so original. It was so original. It wasn't like you had to get a source material. No, props to George Lucas. I love the man. I love how he created Star Wars. But I also respect Kevin Feige because the way he had to take these comic books. Now, he didn't have the power. He had the money. He probably had the money, a spare change there out there. But he did not have the property. So he had to work what he had. He had to take something that already existed and had to make it a new invention. He had to pull something out of the hat so people could be amazed. Now, George Lucas, of course, he had the vision. It was his own idea, but he didn't have the money, and that's crazy. It shows what you could do with these circumstances. Like, you don't need the money, but you could have the money, but you might not have the source, or you could have the source, but you can't have the money. So not you know little valuable lesson, but not you can't win in life. Not always will it be a win, but I'm not trying to make this a motivational speech, but yeah, it's crazy how everything had to get set up, and how everything got set up. So props to Kevin Feige. That's crazy, man. I'm gonna fix my headphones. So yeah, so it's crazy what you can do with all those things. And yeah, I had to fix my headphone. I'm trying to keep this as raw as I can. I don't want to do any big cuts or anything like that. But yeah, guys, like it's crazy, and I'm very excited. I'm very excited for all of the Marvel shows and all the Marvel movies. Of course, it sucks that this year they cancel, the virus, or I shouldn't even say virus. You know what? I gotta bleep that out now. I've been hearing, we'll call it the Rona, the Rona. This pandemic. I've been saying pandemic for a bit. This crazy pandemic. So, um, yeah, guys. So it's crazy. It is that um, that everything got shut down, man. That's crazy. Like, and I don't want to talk about the pandemic. I think we know about it, and we know the tragic and the losses, and we know that this is a very dangerous thing. And I'm trying to make this so you won't have to worry. It's inevitable for you to worry about this. Anybody that's listening to this podcast, um, but try to forget about it. I mean, yes, avoid, be there, but avoid it. Try to be knowledgeable, but at the same time, don't stress yourself, because that kills your body and your defenses, your your self-esteem. It just drops to the floor, and if you do get the coronavirus, it could affect you, and I don't even want to go there. But yeah, guys, like I said, stay safe, man. Um, some of you might know. Yeah, so I was gonna talk about some of you guys know I watch wrestling, and one thing, if you don't like wrestling, if you don't want to talk about, it's whatever. If you want to listen, go ahead and listen. I was gonna talk about WrestleMania. One thing that kind of bothered me. Now, for you WWE fanatics, just like me, now I'm not crazy about it. I don't watch it all the day. I don't watch NXT. I don't watch Raw every day like I used to. I don't watch. I'm more of the let's go to YouTube to see what happened type of guy. But when it comes to a pay per view, Money in the Bank, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, big pay per views, I'm all for it. Elimination Chamber, Royal Rumble. I was very excited. First of all, I'm a very emotional person. Um, um, but I'm always that guy that gets chills when something is so good. Now, I started back in, I don't know which WrestleMania it was, which year it was actually, but I think it was like 2017. I'll look that up quick. I just know it was WrestleMania 36, and I remember, or not 36, it was, I don't even remember anymore. It was 31, and not 36, my bad. It was WrestleMania, and it was actually 2015. Now, in 2015, March 29th, I decided to, back then I used to work, so I decided to, I still do, but because of this pandemic, you guys know, but I didn't work as much because I had school, and at the same time, I didn't have, I didn't have a very well paying job. But I bought the subscription for WrestleMania. Now, my voice is kind of crap because I keep on pausing sometimes and I keep on pausing. Like I said, I want to keep this as raw as possible. But so, I ordered a subscription for WrestleMania. Now, at the time, I didn't have Wi-Fi and I didn't have any Roku, any smart TV, so I had an Xbox 360 at the time, and I remember having this cheap TV. I wasn't broke or anything, but I wasn't struggling either. But I wasn't, like I am now. I have a iPad, I have an iPhone, I have a big TV, I have a PlayStation, I have, you know, things, AirPods, but So at the time, I decided to watch my first WrestleMania. This is the first WrestleMania I've ever watched in pay-per-view style, because the whole WWE Network thing was so new that everybody was digging it, and so I decided to order or get it, and I got it for the first time, and then it was, man, it was something special. It was crazy to watch it. I was watching with my brothers, and it's crazy, man, to um, watch, like, it's crazy. Your first WrestleMania, you get that vibe of the music, you get that vibe of the stadium, you get that vibe, even though you're not even there. I'm that type of person. So WrestleMania 32 came up, 33, 34, 35. Now, 32, 33, 34, 35. Well, 34. We'll cut it from there. I did not feel anything special about those WrestleManias. I didn't feel anything, man. So 35 was alright. I think the stage looked alright. The arena did have that vibe. The song, I don't even remember the song. But it still wasn't some. It wasn't like 31. And that 31, I just remember again, like Seth Rollins taking the WWE Championship from Brock and Roman Reigns, and just doing that big heist, man. It's something crazy that I will never forget. Um, and so 36 comes around, and holy shit, I hit so sorry for that bump. Like I said, I'm new, so bear with me. Um, Watching 36, well, I didn't even know. I thought that they were still gonna plan it, to that day. I thought they were still gonna plan it at the Florida Stadium. I was like, crap, they're gonna have this arena is gonna probably look badass. But then I looked it up, and they're like, no, it was gonna be in the Performance Center, and I was like, okay, this is fine. Two nights, you know, maybe. I was looking on the internet. This guy was talking about, maybe WWE has that money, could put it up there. Make a little nice stage. Have LEDs around it, which they did, but something more. I don't know, more special. Now, when I heard "Blind by the Lights" by Blinding Light, actually it's called, by The Weeknd, I had this fucking emotion that it was crazy. I felt the chills. I was like, this WrestleMania might be lit, even though we were still in the pandemic. So I was excited. And but it really disappointed when you saw those wrestlers come out, and I was like, okay, this is fine. I was still having hope. Even though I saw that the arena, this little stage, wasn't created in another way. I was built in another way, and I really didn't care. And I was like, maybe the matches are gonna be lit. But when you watched the wrestlers perform, it felt like another Raw, a very good Raw match, or a SmackDown match, a very good SmackDown match. Um, I think the people that opened WrestleMania was Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss, and I don't know the other team. I fucking forgot. But that's not the point. When they won the championships. Oh, it was Asuka and what's her name? Carrie Sane. Now everybody was talking about the boat, and that would have been nice. that whole boat gig. But when they won the championships, when Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross won the championships. Nikki Cross. Well, first of all, Nikki Cross.
I don't know that one.
Okay, Alexa just popped out of nowhere. Hope you laughed at that. So I'm not. I haven't been making a lot of jokes. Let me turn this shit off. Well, Alexa, I might have to turn that off for now. For the rest of the podcast, lesson learned, and everything is dropping now. Lesson learned, first day of podcasting. So, when Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross came out, one thing that I noticed that Nikki Cross was, she was, she was like, "Oh my God, WrestleMania, WrestleMania!" And when she won that, she's like, "Oh, we won at WrestleMania." I felt bad. I felt bad for these superstars that have it's been their first time in a WrestleMania. For the wrestlers that haven't really been, you know, or have been to WrestleManias, they know how it feels like. And I wasn't very upset with them. I was kind of upset that Alexa Bliss didn't get a win in her first WrestleMania. Well, she got a win in this first WrestleMania, but not in the actual WrestleMania. I felt bad for the wrestlers. I really, this did not feel like a WrestleMania. Now, one thing that I was really pissed off about is Vince McMahon not giving a crap. And you know who Vince McMahon. I don't have to tell you who Vince McMahon is. Look him up. I'm pretty sure you got to look him up. Um, but if you don't, little backstory. He's the big boss for WWE, which stands Wrestling World Wrestling Entertainment. I was pissed because, well, what can I expect from Vince? What can we like? He's been giving shitty matches. He's been giving shitty like main events. Honestly, I was fucked up in the head because just like, well, how can I explain it? Drink a little bit of water. Do you like that? Some ASMR. We'll do that another time. it it shut me off because what I'm getting to is WrestleMania. It showed me, Vince showed me and showed the world that WrestleMania isn't, but isn't about having a moment. It isn't about having this big event. It isn't it's not a Wrestle Super Bowl. It's not the Super Bowl of wrestling, which WWE claims. And it pissed me off because I was upset. I was upset. I did not know what to do. Um, I was upset because Vince really cared just about making money. Now, don't. You might be saying, well, he has to pay his wrestlers. Well, he's just entertaining us. Okay. Now, they're very, very creative. They have a well, let me backtrack that and say it again. They have a creative team. They have people behind the scenes that could make these matches happen in another way or do it some some way or form to change these matches and have another finish. What they could have done is canceled WrestleMania. Personally, yes, it would suck. Yes, they would lose a lot of money. But at the same time, you're already losing a lot of money. So, honestly, they could have just made a little pay per view, made up something else, and gotten, I don't know, a different ending. But that WrestleMania did not deserve to go down that way. Yes, people are past it. People don't care about it anymore. But I do, and I think that's, it's my opinion, and I think it was pretty stupid for WWE to do that. I think wrestling isn't wrestling anymore. And I might go check out AEW. I've always been Team WWE, but it seems very intriguing. AEW does grab your attention, so I've been wanting to go over there for a bit. So and checking out the matches because they do look good. Like I think I might go over there for a while and start watching some of the AEW. Um, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. I know it is, and I think I'm done for what I wanted to say, and hopefully you liked what I talked about. And I think 2, 3 little segments in this podcast is nice. Maybe I'll cut it down to 2 segments. Maybe I'll do 4 segments. Maybe I'll do a whole goddamn podcast about one segment, one huge topic. I got my Gatorade over here. But yeah, guys, sorry if that disturbed you. So yeah, guys, to make a huge point short, guys, I think I'm done with this podcast for today, for tonight. Maybe it'll go up tomorrow morning, or tomorrow afternoon, or even night. So I think I'm done with this podcast. I think it's been over more than I think 30, about 40, maybe even 2 hours. We'll see after I edit it. And yeah, guys, I think I'm done. I don't have any plugins. I don't have any Instagrams. I don't have any Twitters. I don't have anything for this channel slash podcast channel. I don't have anything yet, but when I do, I'll put it in my second or in this video. We'll never know. So stay tuned. Please subscribe. Please like. Please comment. And tag a friend. Maybe he'll like one of these topics. I'll put probably some key points on there so you could listen to one of the topics that you prefer. Now I am done for tonight, guys. It's been very, very nice to, be talking to you and you listening to me. So and you never know, I might have a guest next time. You know, shoot me a text. Alright, guys. Well, I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, a night, whenever you're listening to this podcast. So, see you guys, because I know that I listen to some podcasts at night, and you might hear that buzzing sound. It's that buzzing sound. It makes it because whenever I connect my my charger, it does that. So I'm sorry for that, but it's almost the ending of this video. So you guys, hope you are doing well. Stay safe, and yeah, guys, whatever song this is, that is playing in the background in this ending, jam to it. And if you don't like it, well, hopefully I don't get copyrighted. But so maybe I'll put this Star Wars song out here. Dun 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 dun. And that's how we're gonna end it. That's how we're gonna end it. I think that's nice. Dun dun dun. We'll put a cover. You know. Now we're done. We're done. Dun 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 dun. Well, hold up, hold up. I'm trying to make those montages where the dude keeps on talking. I think I'm done for this time. My phone buzzed. But yeah. So guys, one more thing. I might be making a Snapchat. I don't know when this is gonna come out, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Thank you very much. Good night. And like I said, we're gonna get out of here with that big Star Wars or Darth Vader theme. Dun 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 dun. I'm a huge freak. Dun 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 dun.